Morning, everyone. It's 8 o'clock on the start of your Finally Friday. We have made it to the end of the week. And of course, as it goes, we started the week with that solar eclipse, clouds. We end the week on Friday, snow coming our way over the weekend.
Here we go into the weekend with like rain and snow. Hope you guys enjoyed those beautiful days we had during the work week.
So Aaron is here with us this morning. He's going to be tracking all of that. We also want to dig into a couple of other things, including the idea of this pretty privilege. Have you heard of this? Pretty people getting all sorts of things like brains, money, better jobs,
cute
allegedly.
dogs.
Right. Okay.
Right?
They're supposed to be getting these things, but do they actually?
Okay. So they're saying that attractive people get kind of like the benefit of the doubt a lot. People will tend to give them maybe a bigger raise. And when Ed says brains, people think they're smarter than they actually are. Do you ever see that happening with people who are attractive?
Listen, I'll take the beauty over the brains.
No, you will. Come on. What is wrong with you?
It's like, who, me?
I know. This whole thing. Then we also want to talk to you about the Buffalo Catholic Diocese. What do you think of the current bishop, Michael Fisher, and what do you think his future looks like here in the city of Buffalo and beyond? So weigh in here. Let's get the comments going. But okay, let's also talk about that main event. The weather really impacting a lot of people. No more snow, Diane.
Diane getting the comments going.
There we go.
15 more minutes until this flood warning expires.
Actually, when I was walking over here, they canceled it.
Oh, okay.
So it ended at around 8 a.m. So I was like, John, you still want me to do this? So yeah, because we're going to talk about the rain and the snow. So the flood warning was just canceled. So that's some good news. However, we still have a steady soaking rain. You're going to find some areas of ponding on the roadways, a lot of standing water across the area. And we do, like you mentioned, have snow in the forecast. So we could see a couple of inches of accumulation overnight across the southern tier. It's a slow go on a lot of the main roads. That's a view right there of the 290 at Main Street with that's going eastbound as you approach the Blue Water Tower. Rain's coming down. This is normally the busiest time of the day. So we are seeing some slow spots on the main roads.
Everything just super saturated these days because of all the rain we've seen. Remember that one woman in Cheektowaga that we just spoke with? She says this one area in Cheektowaga, and she was trying to express this to the town board the other day, that it's just a poor system at play here. Like the drainage system isn't working. And so her driveway just becomes a river. And then Patty kind of saying the same thing. Her yard is just a pond.
Jeff Baker says it is a mess in the orchards.
I bet. Not only do you have the rain, you also have very strong winds that are gusting 45 to 50 miles per hour right now. And that's how they're going to be for the rest of the day today, tonight, and tomorrow. Checking out the radar, we still have a steady soaking rain across the region, and that is going to be with us for the next few hours. We'll get a little break around lunchtime, and then some more rain comes in as we head into this afternoon. Right now, check it out, 46 degrees. The winds, though, southwesterly 33, gusting to 46 miles per hour in Buffalo, wind gust of 47 in Niagara Falls, 46 miles per hour in Wellsville. Your hourly forecast, temperatures holding in the mid-40s with strong winds and rain showers throughout the day. And like we mentioned, I want to get to this one because we have snow in the forecast. It's a new model run that kind of pushes these snow totals a little higher across the southern tier. So some slushy accumulation south of Buffalo as you start off your day on Saturday.
Aaron, I think I speak for all of us when I say we don't need 1 inch to 3 inches of rain this weekend. Like, enough of this.
Right.
Snow.
This is crazy.
The snow, that's what I meant. How many people...
Just wanted to correct you while you're getting mad at me.
Thank you. How many people's flowers, too, have already said, like, our tulips, some of them actually literally opened.
And we know that the cherry blossoms at the Japanese Gardens in Delaware Park, they are all bloom.
Can they handle that?
We're going to find out, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. And so here, I mean, realistically, they only last about 2 weeks. I mean, when those cherry blossoms bloom, often the wind and the rain.
It's the wind, especially.
Yeah, they just blow them off the trees.
So hopefully they're not that far in bloom right now, and they will last a little bit longer. But today is going to be a very stressful day on those blossoms because we have the heavy rain right now. Winds gusting 45 to 50 miles per hour, and the winds are going to be like that today, tonight, through tomorrow. And then, of course, a little snow tonight.
So Lauren was asking, seriously.
Also, can I just answer Jeanette really quick? She wanted to know why everybody's names are red right now. Jeanette, that's because we are using, you notice the red background here? Because we had the
Weather
flood.
alert.
It's a weather alert. So it changes the colors of everything.
Okay, so I'm looking at the Buffalo airport right now, the departure
yeah.
board, because Lauren was asking our flight's going to be delayed.
How did it look?
There's just one flight that's been delayed so far, and that one is to Atlanta. It was supposed to leave at 12 o'clock. It's now leaving at 12:30. Everything
That
else,
might not be weather related. That could be something.
yeah,
else,
and everything else seems to be on or close to schedule. That was
Well-
really the only one that I saw that was.
yeah, they
having a
probably,
problem.
it's just going to be really bumpy, especially your landing.
Shonda, leaving for Florida in a few weeks.
No kidding.
Get me out of here.
Shauna, I'm with you. I like Florida in like May and June. It's hot down there. It's humid. I don't mind. We just got back and we had a couple of hot days, and I'm out there running, and I love it.
Kelly says this definitely slows the spring cleanup process, right? Like how many people were trying to get outside and sweep their driveways, mow their lawns?
I did an award-winning video on it.
Let the Emmys know.
So I have
Does
proof.
the bear watch Second Cup? Your bear?
No.
Your bear? Oh God, I wish she was here. I'd give her a personal message.
Your mom
you
says,
could call her. Text her.
I will.
my flowering plum tree lasts 48 hours in a perfect year. With this rain, it's mostly done already.
MB, I have your dish. Your mom sent me some food the other day,
It did.
and I put it in the washing machine, and I have it. I just forgot it.
Aaron Melly wondering, is this weekend going to be better?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be windy and kind of cool on Saturday. We're starting off with clouds and some rain and some snow. But then as your Saturday moves along, things will improve. So it will be better for Saturday. Today we're in the 40s. Tonight we're in the 30s with that rain and snow. And then tomorrow we start with some rain and snow and with partly sunny skies. Still windy, though. That'll be the big story on Saturday with temperatures near 50. More showers on Sunday. And then next week, it's back to spring-like weather. So if you want to run or ride your bike or do both, you
That's
can do
nice
that.
that the rain ends and the sun comes out just in time for Monday.
I know.
Dig into the winds for tomorrow. What are you thinking about the winds during the day tomorrow?
About 40 to 45 miles per hour, similar to what we have right now. So a long-lasting wind event. I know it that weather headline kind of got buried because of the whole
Snow.
flood this morning and then snow for tonight. But I do want to emphasize that it will be windy for today, tonight, and tomorrow.
Mark, when is the Derby? Do you know? When's David's Derby party?
I don't know if it's being held this year. I want to say it's the first weekend in May.
That was in early May.
Yeah,
Interesting.
but there might be another one this weekend because there's 3 of them, right? There's like the Preakness, the Kentucky Derby,
Belmont.
and the Belmont.
Okay.
Yeah,
Patty says every Monday lately is gorgeous, and we all have to
know.
work.
I know.
Yeah, that
Boy, I'd like to
sucks.
call out on Monday, but guess what, Aaron? I can't.
Why not?
Womp womp. Katie took all of her vacation time already.
Okay, whatever. You're taking yours next week. And then he's like, that's what he said to me the other day. He's like, oh my, I go on vacation next week, and then I'm barely here the next week.
It's
and I'm
true.
like, okay, his birthday's coming up, you know.
Oh, this is that
We're in
stretch
Ed
of
month.
Ed. Yeah, where you get
Summer of
that
Ed.
2 weeks of Ed.
Spring event.
Spring and summer event.
It's so. I mean, like here we are.
A little
though. I
fall
mean,
and winter
I haven't
mixed in there.
had a vacation in probably 6 months. Actually, longer than that since our wedding. That was September.
Okay. You doing anything fun?
We're just going away. We're getting out of here, getting out of Dodge.
Getting out of Dodge.
Yeah, can't
Okay.
You better bring us something.
Yeah, bring us some sunshine. Yeah.
Jeff says, I can't believe you have much left, Ed.
That
Jeff, believe it.
sunshine.
This stretch of Ed, so funny. Okay, let's talk about the bishop here because a lot of people are
Do you want to
reigning
stay or
here.
do you want to go?
I think that's where I'll say
Juices?
peace out. Yeah, I gotta go.
Juices.
I have not had my breakfast yet because it's been so busy this morning.
Okay.
And I
That donut's calling your name.
already had that. That doesn't
Oh,
count.
hold on, Aaron. Before you go,
That doesn't count.
the clematis.
Thank
made
you.
Amazing strides in medicine, and I'm sure they can clear that. Oh.
What was that?
That is funny.
That is funny.
I actually got super excited
That was funny.
that we had someone who might be able to answer my
I
clematis question.
thought we were going to be talking about that. Yes, I had the video of my clematis. Looks great.
That's
It
funny.
is
Kenneth.
doing well,
Thank you for
and
the laugh.
it's it's blossoming. So I'm very
It's
excited
already
about that.
blossomed.
Well, it doesn't have a flower on
It's
it,
coming,
but
it's coming back.
it's going to be a monster this year.
I suppose I should have read the comment before.
Oh,
I
it was
pulled
funny.
up.
Hey man, it's second cup. Right?
You are kind of infamous for doing that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like
You-
what was the one about? It was like, is your refrigerator running?
No. I was
Oh,
thinking
let's go,
about-
Brandon. Yeah,
It
I
was
know.
that one. Someone changed their name and he's like, now we go to, and I'm like, no. But he's
You
like,
had no idea.
well, I took one look at Ed. It kind of looked like what it was supposed to say.
I had no clue. I was reading the comment. I wasn't reading the name. And then I'm like, oh, let's go, Brandon
And
says.
you're like,
And I'm
this
like, oh,
comment
you've gotta be
from,
kidding me.
yeah. Well,
It's a high wire act we're on
Jeez.
every day, you know? So good job,
Anyway.
guys. Okay, since there's no many weather
Hope your
questions.
coladas hangs in
I'm gonna eat my breakfast now. See ya.
Oh,
Okay, let's
goodness.
talk about the bishop here, because the 5 or 6 people or so who are really fed up are sending the Vatican a note saying Bishop Michael Fisher should be removed because he is more or less an absentee bishop.
Now, they're looking for leadership, basically, in the diocese. And what they're saying is they brought him in to be the leader to take us through all of these difficult times, and it's not happening. And, okay, these 5 people are signing this letter. How many Catholics feel this way? I tend to think that there is a pretty strong contingent in Western New York that's very frustrated with the leadership right now.
Catherine says the bishop inherited this mess. He could be more visible for people, but he didn't cause any of this downfall of the Buffalo diocese. A lot of the people who are upset are saying, okay, he's closing all of these schools. He's dealing with the financial crisis of the diocese, but he's not making himself available or visible to the people who are very concerned about their parish, their school, the mergers
They're
that are
not
happening.
hearing from him. And they're also saying when these things are happening, he's not there to make that announcement and he's not there to talk people through it. Truthfully, you do expect, if you are in an organization, you look to your leader for guidance. And if he's going to be the leader of this, and I don't care what your organization is, right? You look to the leader for guidance and you want that person to be there in difficult times, and they feel like he's not there.
Paula wants to know, what was the expectation of this person? And maybe that's a good place to start. What is your expectation of a bishop? I mean, when we had Bishop Malone in position to be that person, I mean, call it what it is. He lied.
Mm-hmm.
He did not tell the truth about what happened behind closed doors. In fact, he was kind of trying to cover it up.
Kind of.
He did.
Our reports have shown that he was absolutely covering it up, and it's very discouraging. Having grown up Catholic, it was a real hit for a lot of people, I think. And and it was because you knew these terrible things. Okay, so we learn all these horrible things happen, and then initially, the bishop said, "I didn't know." Whatever. Like we'll get to the bottom of this. I kind of remember him saying. And then we come to find out that he knew about this stuff all along.
Your mom weighing in here saying, honestly, if you had asked me his name, I wouldn't have known it.
The bishop,
right?
Current bishop.
So disgusted with the Catholic Church in Buffalo. Robin, good morning to you. The bishop needs to set the example and always do the right thing. If not him, then who?
It was the reporting that Channel 7 did on all of this, I think, really opened people's eyes to what was happening within the church.
Well, and so Catherine says, I have to keep the faith despite my church. Malone was a disaster.
And you know what? Good for you, Catherine, to keep that personal faith, right? There's a difference between the institution and how you personally feel.
How do you differentiate?
I don't know. I've come to kind of realize that whether or not we like to believe it or whatever, that things like that, they're not technically a business, but they function like a business, right?
They are a business.
They take in money. They,
look at the basilica.
They fund different things. They do this kind of stuff. So, that's, the institution aspect of it. And then how you personally feel connected religiously is different.
You walk into the basilica, OLV in particular, in Lackawanna, and you are immediately met with this grandeur, and you feel like you are
it's a beautiful place.
You're in a house of God, right? Like there's a house of worship. Like as a Jewish person, I feel that way, regardless of my faith, your faith, whatever it is. But when you realize how much money has been poured into that place, and then you wonder, oh, where did all this money come from? This is a church.
And you know what, though? That is fair, because people donate to their church.
Well, and that's just it, is that it's coming from you.
Right. And so that's fair. Spend it how you want. The problem is now we're dealing with this bankruptcy. Now we're dealing with so many other things
right.
that,
Barb says, I grew up Catholic and it's still going on. Pedophiles in hiding. Robin says there's a religion and a relationship.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great way to put it.
So are you saying that your relationship is strained, but your religion is intact?
I think she's saying your religion is strained, but your relationship with like a higher power might be intact. That's what I think. Religion, because religion is a construct, right? Religion is something that, there's...
Somebody made it up.
There's so many. It's not like just that, but like,
you know what I mean, though?
It's an institution. Is that the right way to put
Yes,
it? Like,
absolutely.
I don't know.
Katie, you got it, is what Robin is saying.
I'm just trying to interpret what everybody's saying and also not get myself in any sort of trouble.
Leave it to me. Peter says the bishops follow higher
That's
orders.
what I does.
Not taking is part of it, unfortunately.
Not talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have my glasses
You know
on.
what? And Peter, you might not be wrong. Because you know what? Sometimes you do, again, have to run things up the channels. Like if someone came to you or I and wanted to comment on X, Y, and Z, we couldn't just flat out say
but
whatever.
we're also not the leaders of the organization.
Well, that's, I think what he's saying, though, is that
But he is the leader of the organization.
in theory, but he responds to the cardinals who respond to the Pope. You know what I mean? Like there's a hierarchy there too. So maybe he runs it up the food chain and they're like, nah. And so he kind of stays. I really don't know.
Well, but what does that say then about the transparency within the church? What does that say about his dedication and his willingness to be transparent, as he told our Ashley Rowe once he became bishop, that he would be transparent? Elizabeth, my mother always told me, never let the institution get in the way of your relationship with God. Teresa, good morning to you. The Buffalo Diocese has never done what everyone wants him to do now. He was sent for one reason, and it was to handle this mess, close schools and parishes. So that's kind of what I believe, Teresa, you're saying your expectation is of this bishop.
Jason's comment: if the church accepted gay and lesbian people and allowed priests to get married, I might have stayed. That is a big criticism a lot of people have with the church too, is that, you know, believe what you want to believe, but when do we, you know, make these changes, and how do we change with the times? How do we change with people? Let's be real. People have always, in my opinion, been gay, you know, over the year, right?
Well, let me tell you,
I'm not
it's
saying
true.
I'm not saying like, but I'm saying decades, you know, hundreds of years ago, you know, it just, maybe people weren't comfortable with it. Okay, so now we're comfortable. We understand. We're accepting, right? But not in all aspects.
You know,
I
and
think that's hard for people.
but then you look at like that scathing 20-page direction that the Pope just put out within the last week or so. I mean, it talks about surrogacy. It talks about people who are transitioning. It talks about, you know, very specific groups of people and the implication on morality. You know, and I wonder, especially for couples who are using surrogates, what the thought behind that is. Because, you know, when you talk about somebody not being able to have a baby, whether it's a gay couple or a straight couple, whatever, or a couple who is just somebody who's not even married, maybe it's a single woman who wants to have a baby and is using, you know, can't get pregnant, whatever the case is, the Pope is saying that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, he spoke out against surrogacy. That's tough, you know. I mean, there's a lot of people who start families that way, and who are we to criticize how people start a family?
Listen to what
someone. Okay.
Well, listen to this. I get it. I understand what you're saying. It's a touchy subject, and so this is to your point. This is my sister-in-law, Lauren. It was recommended to me not to have a gay godfather for my child. I told the priest, regardless of what the church believes, God makes people the way they are. And God knows a good person when they're there for my child, plain and simple. I said more, but we'll leave it at that. So like Russ is Rosalie's godfather. Russ, my husband. Can you imagine? That breaks my heart.
Is there any aspect of Russ that would make you think he wouldn't be the perfect godfather for Rosalie? I can't think of one, but you know. Sorry, it's just, you know, this is tough.
Well, I mean, if
like,
you really want to know the truth.
Don't throw us under the bus like that. No, I like Jeanette too. She's like, boy, this is a deep cup for a Friday. Should we switch gears? Because this is a deep cup for a Friday, and there's just a lot. There's a lot everybody could say, and there's a lot more I think we could all say, but maybe we just shouldn't.
Do you think pretty privilege exists?
Surrogacy thing, I have a really hard time.
I'm right there with you.
I have a number of good friends who started families that way, and they are fantastic parents, and you would not wish for better parents for children, and that is really disheartening to me.
Well, and so okay, yes, okay. You're right. We probably should move on because one or both of us is going to get in trouble.
Okay, so let's talk about pretty privilege. Okay, here's the definition. Jeanette, we're going to move on to make it a fun cup for you. People who are deemed attractive get advantages. That's the idea of having a pretty privilege. So these studies show that attractive people benefit from a beauty bonus. They earn higher salaries on average. They're also expected, like people meet them and think they're smarter, they're more intelligent.
So I brought up, do you know that one video of the woman from, I think it was Tennessee, who was in this beauty pageant, and they ask her about the education system.
She kind of flounders through her answer.
I mean, this is a beauty queen who is beautiful and supposed to be like given the benefit of the doubt here.
You know what, though, when we were watching that video, I also said, or was thinking in my head, that's a tough place to be, because like do you ever start talking and you get nervous? Well, maybe you've perhaps you've never had that experience. But like that happens to me sometimes when it's like a big crowd or when it's a high pressure situation, and I start to talk and I get nervous, and sometimes like if you're not focused enough and if you're I have to assume if you're in a beauty pageant, you're looking back at everybody's not, and it might be hard to keep that focus. So I think she just totally lost her focus, and like that's fair. Happens.
Well, I'm not a good public speaker. I don't love public speaking. I'll be honest with you. Like give me a mic and I'm good to go, but like I don't love it. But
boom, Jeff Baker, right to the core.
Indeed,
cuts to the heart.
Bob says we get nervous when Ed starts talking.
Yeah, me too, Bob. And sometimes then he gets me going, and I'm like, no. Like he picked, I can't.
Robin says, I believe pretty privilege is true. That's why so many battle weight to be more accepted in certain situations. Wow, that actually is probably the nail on the head.
Mm-hmm, that's true. What is that video of that lady fanning herself with money? John, play that one more time. That is the most ridiculous video. Do you see that? I also said to Ed, how rude that they didn't ask us. Look at this.
She's like, yes.
I'm pretty, and that's why I have these dollars. So ridiculous.
Maybe she.
All right.
Never mind. Oh God.
The pretty.
I'm gonna get fired today. Today's my last day, everyone.
Robin's comment too about the weight, like that is so true. How many people really struggle with weight? And even people who aren't overweight, like have a constant obsession. Like you're not overweight, but you're really focused on like your weight, and you're not overweight. It's a hard, because it's a stigma. It's hard.
Well, right, because like in the gay world, you want to have the perfect body. You want to be.
It's not just in the gay; it's in every world. Honestly, I feel like those pressures exist.
Well, I think the pressures on.
You guys put a.
Well, I think the pressures on straight men and gay men are two different things. Yeah. The same thing with women. There's. Yeah. I think that gay men there's that stereotype of gay men who are chiseled, gorgeous faces, great hair, great skin, and there's the other side. It's of a dichotomy where in the gay culture there are overweight other men, and then it's hard to explain without being so technical.
Think about the pressure put on women all the time,
and that's my point.
Very simple, to always be thin, always look perfect, blah blah blah.
Barb, I'm overweight. I hate it. Patty, I battle weight every day.
Yeah,
the weight issue has helped her entire life. Her entire life.
Did you ever feel discriminated against in that situation too? Because kind of that's what. The other side of what this study is saying is that we discriminate against people who aren't pretty and aren't skinny. That's the other side of this. We're saying people who are our definition of pretty, thin, attractive, get all these things. So that means other people don't.
Well, Jason, so I'm right there with you. And I'll be totally honest with you. When I was 20 years old, I was 30 pounds lighter than I am right now.
We all were.
Right.
You cannot base that on like that. That's not a you problem. That's us problem. Like we all were. I look back at pictures from college when I thought I was fat, and I'm like, oh God, can I go back to that fat? Like, please. You know what I mean?
Barb says, yes, I feel discriminated. And then Howard says, this is true. Gays are weight shamers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I get
Shonda
that.
says she gets treated like crap because she's thin too. Shonda, aren't you the person who told us a long time ago that you can eat a ton and then you just stay really skinny? And she's like, that's a thing too,
Jealous, good metabolism.
Well, and then of course she gets to hear about that too. Like we can't win.
I love this. Food or beer? You decide.
Just do both.
Listen, we got to let Aaron get back on TV so he can track that rain for us and the snow coming our way. What a second cup. What a way to end the week.
Okay. Ooh, yikes. All right, everybody. Have a great
weekend.
weekend.